Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here, and welcome to another episode of more Pooh Talk. Today's special guests are Goofy, Yuck 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 17, and Mickeyfan. And today we're going to dissect the Fantasylands that you made for our flagship season of 1986. So, Goofy, what books have you been reading?
Let's see. I've been reading math textbooks.
Ooh, which one?
All the good calculus ones. They're the
best. Ooh. So yeah, Tiki's not here. Oh, he's here in spirit. He's technically here.
He's also here in two.
Yes, both Tikis are present this evening.
Oh my God.
So great. This is a really good first official episode of More Pooh Talk. Thanks for coming out, boys. We're gonna talk about Fantasyland. So let's get going. Season of Fantasy. Mickeyfan, what do you think of this?
Oh, I loved this. I loved this so much. This was a delight.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Goofy fan, what do you think?
Who's Goofy fan?
I'm sorry, I keep doing that because I have like two of the three. We don't have any Donald, but it throws me off.
There's two Tikis. There's two Tikis, but there's only one Goofy fan.
Hey, Goofy, what do you think of this project?
I thought that this was ridiculously impressive because they were all for this entire season. It's felt like the team projects haven't been very long. They haven't had very long to work on them. And I said in my review that how they were able to do so much in so little time is like crazy to me. And the amount of detail that they were able to put in. I spent like 2 hours reading through the entire thing because it was like there are sublinks within sublinks within sublinks.
Yeah.
Every time I thought I was at the end, there was more.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Overall, I thought the project was really fantastic, but like Goofy and I both said in our reviews, it was kind of too big for its britches and I thought that it was kind of unrealistic because of that, but everything separately was really fantastic.
We're talking blue sky Disneyland. Realism is out the door.
So no.
This is the bluest sky.
Yes, it is. This is like
It's not a cloud in this sky.
I agree, but Jesus Christ, we have another hub and spokes inside a hub and spokes.
Exactly.
I see nothing wrong with the hub and spokes inside hub and spokes.
I just want to point out there is a tree of life inside of a castle park.
Yeah, I mean this you're basically giving this part. I'll talk about it later when we get to the main e-ticket, the quote unquote main e-ticket, because there's like 6 e-tickets in this land.
Main e-ticket. So good.
No, I know. this park has like 3 icons now. It has the main castle, it has the tree, and then there's a second Snow White's like summer castle behind that.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy because
the girl needs to get away from it all.
Yeah, she gets away. She needs to
go 60 yards away.
Yeah, exactly. I summer in the north.
Yeah. I summer in my larger castle.
Exactly. This is. It's crazy to me how, like I said, how large it is. Like this is something where if you added some more, I guess if you added some more, a couple more attractions. I mean, like I said, in my review, I counted, there are 15 attractions at least in here. That's more than Hollywood Studios has in its entirety. This land itself feels like it would be bigger than Hollywood Studios.
So before we continue,
I count the number of attractions Hollywood Studios has on one hand.
While you're doing that, I just want to address the comments super quick. I do agree that Pergron said that unrealism is irrelevant to Blue Sky, which I agree with, but I do think that realism should be addressed to at least some degree. like, even though it's blue sky, you can do whatever you want, but there should be like, it should be grounded to some extent.
I agree with that.
Personally, also, I do agree with Outbound that the small world land should absolutely wrap around the entirety of Fantasyland.
Okay, wait. So I've got to ask, because I was thinking about this the entire time I was reading through it. I didn't see. I remember seeing in the brainstorming thread like a drawn out map, like just like a rough thing, but I didn't see a map of like the entire area in here, and so that sort of made me think: are they like trying to avoid the fact that this thing is larger than most parks?
I was wondering that too, because I saw maps as well, and I was kind of wondering why it wasn't there. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I promise we're not trying to shit on this project. All of us really adored this project.
Yeah, exactly. So we're getting that overview, and then we're getting into all the awesome stuff in it.
Yes. But yeah. So let's move into it. So first we have like a lot of stuff.
Okay, let's first things first. Let's talk about that logo, Fantasyland.
Fantasyland. I didn't realize that was in the logo.
I didn't even know Mickeyfan said something about it.
Was I the only one who noticed that?
Yes, this is an alternate reality. I saw that you mentioned that in your review, but I thought it was just a typo in the text. I didn't realize.
I did too. I didn't realize it was the logo of the land.
Yeah.
I was more focused on the tree, which looks phenomenal, honestly.
Henley, dog.
Fantasyland. The writing is the map, a map into your mind. Then why does one of the sublands have its own map, Outbound? Was the writing not up to snuff for that one? That's what I say to that, goddammit.
Whenever I saw the London map, I was like, wait a minute, there hasn't been a map for the whole thing.
That is one thing I'll say for presentation that this always happens with team projects where someone, or rather large team projects where there's different groups of people working on different things. I wish that there was something like what we did with the IOA project, where someone did maps for everything, just for consistency's sake. But
yeah. I'm honestly wondering if we're going to get a map at the end. Like, that needs to be a project unto itself.
Make a map.
Let's make a map of this entire park.
Yeah, 5 days.
500 acres large.
Make sense of this. But anyway, let's move on. First off, we have the castle courtyard. Like I said in my review, I thought this was like a really good forward to the rest of the land. It felt a little disconnected from the rest of the land because it was kind of just like an expansion on the castle and the castle grounds. Yeah,
I agree. It's well, I mean, it's kind of like in a regular castle park. Like, you have that courtyard, and then it's, because this is a blue sky, it's expanded to include 5e tickets. No kidding.
Yeah, like I really liked it. For the most part, it was pretty. Everything felt like it fit. Sorry. Oh, Albani's pizza, I felt, was like the one thing that didn't really fit quite so much.
It was a little out of place. I agree.
I appreciated it.
A little bit.
It just didn't make sense to have like a Renaissance era pizza stand, counter service, whatever, in like 1200s Germany.
On the other hand, a blacksmith.
That looked cool.
I don't know if y'all know this, but I am a giant slut for swords.
What kind? Oh.
So like, I was all over this.
I know. I really like the blacksmith. I still think the name is a horrible typo. Because a forgery is not yeah, it should, like, a forgery is a fake item. Like I said in my review, like, it would make sense to call it that, and it would be very clever to call it that if it was a shop that sold like movie prop swords, because that would be funny. But
So you have your actual blacksmith place called the Forge, and then for the kids, there's plastic swords at the Forge.
But other than that, I thought it was great. Mjolnir was a little out of place to me, but
Mjolnir really confused me because it's like with the lack of a map and the way that it was described, because it was first brought up with the gazebos, and I was like, is Thor just gonna like walk out in the middle of all these princesses and
let's be real here. Let's be real here. It's not like he doesn't belong.
Right. It's just with the princesses themselves. It's a little it's with the princesses, but also he's in the courtyard area of Snow White's castle, which is
Yeah, like for me, I think it was more that there was zero Marvel presence, and then in the one land where there's like very old school Disney presence, there's the one Marvel presence. But I appreciate it. I thought it was great.
Just for the sheer balls of it, I like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I thought that the theme of this area was like updating and improving all the stuff that's like in the Magic Kingdom courtyard behind the castle. You know, you have like it's like a better or improved Bibbidi Boppity boutique. You have nice stores and everything. The Mjolnir thing is more relevant to kids than Excalibur. And the walkthrough thing was cool, although I didn't think about it until I saw your review, Jokers, that pumping in sewer smells might not be the best idea.
I really enjoyed it though. It was a good like update and response to the Sleeping Beauty Castle walkthrough. Same with the restaurant. I thought the restaurant was really fantastic, and I really like how it was woven into the story of the castle. The Magic Academy was a lot of fun. Peep that Magic the Gathering font. There it is.
Is it shade or is it?
No, I just thought it was funny that it was literally the Magic the Gathering font. No, like everything here, I really appreciated. Like everything fit very well for the most part, and everything felt like a very natural update on things that had been in Disney parks for a long time.
Yes.
Which is a bad thing. Like everything was done very well. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, even the gazebos are like an improvement on like I don't even know what it's called anymore, but like the place where you can go in and meet like 3 princesses at once or whatever. Like the gazebo. Yeah. Fairy Tale Hall. Yes. The gazebo idea is so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, even Mjolnir is a really smart update to the Sword and the Stone, because no one knows what the Sword and the Stone is anymore. To the point where they don't even have Merlin come out anymore. They just have like a generic wizard with a.
They don't even have him anymore.
Oh, do they not?
No.
Well, I don't know how often it gets pulled out of the rock, though, or the stone. I guess it's called.
Once per show. I've tried. It's like bolted in.
Yeah, I know. It's my brother didn't believe me whenever I told him that it actually can come out. He's like, "There's no way that comes out. They have it locked in there." I'm like, "No, it definitely comes out."
Yeah, it's like it doesn't come out all the way, but it's like I think it's like a switch that they are able to activate somehow. Yeah. Anyway, Cast Courtyard's fantastic. Moving on to the Gardens of Spring, Garden of Seasons. This is a really fantastic thesis to the whole land. I love the icon.
Doug.
Yeah, concept art's beautiful.
All his concept art is like ridiculously good.
Oh, absolutely. I really enjoyed it. I think that Fantasia was a really smart choice.
Yeah.
And I like how uniquely it was done. Because whenever anyone does Fantasia anything, they always want to do like a boat ride. So I appreciate I appreciated having like Fantasia as a physical space with smaller flat rides that evoked like the feelings of the sequences.
Yeah, it was a nice way to like bring in the it was like, I mean, it really feels like super classic, even though this thing's kind of like never existed before. But it was cool to see the Fantasia characters integrated so well.
And
Yes.
I mentioned this in my review, but this entire land just feels so at once classic and timeless, but modern.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it also ties in really well because you think about Fantasia, a lot of it, involves the seasons and stuff like that. So it like fits super well as a central area to it. And this is why I'm saying I keep saying that this would be a crazy good park on its own.
It would,
Yeah,
honestly.
That's exactly what I was thinking too. Is that this alone could stand as its own park because of how large it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed this. I think this is a great, like, relaxing central area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could easily spend just a couple hours, people watching in this area.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And that's
for sure.
honestly what I love the most about it.
No, I don't have a ton more to say, but I this was super solid and just really fantastic. I love the sense of place. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So moving on, we got London Spring.
Maui Poppins.
We have a map.
Yes.
I know what this looks like.
You know what this subland looks like.
I love the Mary Poppins ride.
Yeah.
It was really nice to see some old concepts like animated and fully fleshed out.
Yeah. And
Yes.
really, really clever incorporation of Bambi of all things.
Oh, absolutely! I love
That was a
the
great
ideas.
idea.
And I'm just going to point this out. I am a hoe for anything related to roaming animatronics, so that Bambi touch was just.
Yeah.
So if there was a roaming animatronic that was holding a couple swords.
Oh, that would be it.
So yeah, I would honestly just be there all day waiting for it.
You heard it here first, boys. Next project, just put in a roaming animatronic with a few swords. So
Whoever does that, head of household.
Right off the bat. All right. I really like the land. I think the restaurants were the weakest part, but for like weird reasons.
Well, I was sort of confused about like the differences between the two. They felt like really similar. Yeah, exactly. They felt like very similar.
I mean, personally, I saw the differences. The one thing that worried me about the Pooh restaurant was that it's set inside a tree. But I don't know if the tree is supposed to be a facade to its own like bigger building behind like other facades, or if it's just like a big old round tree, because the latter would be super unrealistic. In terms of the Alice in Wonderland restaurant, I liked it. I understand how it differentiates from Winnie the Pooh, because it's like baked goods. It's like desserty things, but I feel.
The idea of the Pooh is that it's like an afternoon tea kind of deal.
Well, no, that's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
I think that both of these restaurants would have done better if their themes were switched.
Yeah.
Because Alice in Wonderland would have been a better like British tea, English tea. Like that was the other thing I didn't appreciate. I didn't like how it was breakfast all day, especially English breakfast all day.
Yeah, that's super heavy.
Well, not even that. I just don't know, like, would if people would even want to go.
Like, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like 3 p.m. Like, wow, I'm really craving blood sausage. Like, I don't think that would.
Who doesn't have that craving from time to time?
You know what I could use today at 5 p.m. a Scotch egg. But if they switched the themes and made it like more heavily tea themed rather than like British breakfast themed, I think it would have been more successful. Where I feel like Winnie the Pooh lends itself more to desserts.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Just by nature of being honey.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I liked like we said, I really liked the integration of the Bambi stuff into that, because it's like, it's really weird because I can't really think of a way to how else Bambi could be put into a theme park easily. But I was sort of confused with some of the stuff, because I realized the need to put Bambi in there, but I was really confused by Thumper's launch and Flower's flower shop. Because with Thumper's launch, it was confusing to me because it was described as being like, and maybe somebody in the comments can clear this up, but it was described as being like a bunch of these. Hang on, I'll look at it so I don't misdescribe it.
I can pull it up. I've got screen share.
Yes, you do. It says, hang on. So it's Thumper's in the middle of all the towers for all guests to see. So my question was like, well, one of my questions, I guess, is how big is this Thumper? Like, is this like a 30-foot tall Thumper?
It's like a kaiju
like it thumps its foot in the entire park shape.
The entire No, that's very true. I don't think they needed the Thumper animatronic. And they probably picked the exact same information.
Exactly. But Flower's Flower Shop, I think it's similar to what you said about the English breakfast, is thinking about the demand for it is kind of like how many people are going to be at a theme park and they're going to be in the middle of the day and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy some flowers to give to somebody or for myself. And then I'm going to take them on all the rides with me the rest of the day.
Yeah, this probably would have been better served as like a perfume shop.
Yeah.
Something
That's
like
a great idea.
That is a great idea.
That's a great idea, honestly.
Yeah, so yeah, things like that, or even like just like a generic Bambi shop that also has like perfume. Or like even like florally items you could do, but definitely not like just flowers. Yeah. So anything else?
No, I thought this was a cool land. It was cool to see like the kind of the Tony Baxter idea for the Mary Poppins ride kind of come into its own. And it was cool because it was like it feels like a really cohesive land.
Like the carousel horses are such an obvious ride vehicle.
Yeah.
Which is great.
I have fallen in love with that idea far before this.
Oh yeah, this has been floating around for like ever.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad that someone actually finally did it. Yeah, no, everything here was really great. I really appreciated the map and the animations that were done.
Yeah.
It's nice to get a map every once in a while.
It is. It gives me a real sense of place when I get to see how everything's spaced out in this one quarter of the land.
Yeah. The small corner of this.
I printed this out and I drew my own map. So moving on to Summer Forest. This was good. I am worried about cohesion is my biggest thing here. Because I thought it was weird that we have Corona right next to Sherwood Forest.
Well, Corona's everywhere right now.
Well, no, I also just realized that
I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I agree. I can see Robin Hood gives a really good transition from spring to summer.
Yes, yeah. If you do like forest and then like Rapunzel's in the back,
yeah,
like, I can see that.
But it's sort of like, but this is one of those things where it's like if we had a map, I could definitely see it being like the forest is like the main part of the land, and then Rapunzel's area is like in the back where you don't go to it unless you want to go to it, I guess. So yeah, it seems more cohesive with the other parts of the lands.
Yeah, like correct me if I'm wrong because it's been a few days since I've read this, admittedly. But I think the Rapunzel stuff takes place in the forest as well, right?
Yeah, it's sort of like they're all in there together.
Yeah, so like I think
I'm just gonna say it. Rapunzel and Robin Hood should not fit together as good as they do.
Well, no, I was gonna say like if they move the Rapunzel section to like Corona proper, I think it would have fit better. But it does still work. But there's just a few issues where it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it makes more sense to have it actually be like, okay, you're in Corona, and then you go to the forest, and there's Robin Hood. Not you're in the forest the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since they're anthropomorphic animals. So we
With
have
humans that ride on non-anthropomorphic animals.
that's very true. That's classism. We have we have human Rapunzel with anthropomorphic Robin Hood. Yeah, other than that, the rides were great.
Just imagine that promo picture though.
Yeah.
When advertising Seasons of Fantasy and going into the summer festival, and just this promo picture of Rapunzel and Robin Hood back to back.
I thought you were going to go with Robin Hood riding Maximus or something.
Yeah, no, with Rapunzel on a horse and Robin Hood on an anthropomorphized horse. I think we got it. We got it.
Doug, if you're listening, we could use some really realistic concept art.
I need that concept art like yesterday. But no, I mean, other than that, I think the rides were really great. They were a lot of fun. One thing I will say about the land as a whole, I really appreciate how each of the larger dark rides feel like Fantasyland dark rides.
Yeah.
They feel very much in line with what they were trying to do, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I said this in my review, but whenever I was initially reading through it, I was sort of judging them based off of the Mary Poppins ride that I just read, and so I was like, well, these fall a little flat compared to that. And then I was like, I finished the land and I was about to start on the fall land, and I was like, well, no, actually, it makes sense to have the more traditional ones because you don't want to just go all the way with the innovation and stuff, I guess. And the stories were both pretty good, I think, in the attractions, so it works really well for me.
Yeah, I also appreciate. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I also appreciate that they had a 4D show in here too, and I think it was done very well.
It didn't need to be a 4D show.
That's what my thing was with it. Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
Is that it was like it's kind of like I know I said this in the first review I wrote, and then I had to edit it down because it ended up being super long.
Yeah.
But it was like it kind of felt like the criticisms that we got in So You Want to Be an Imagineer for making a trackless ride trackless for the sake of it being trackless. It was like, if you're going to make it show 4D, then it needs to have like a reason to be 4D, I guess.
No, that's fair.
But I mean, it was still like it was a cool concept for the show and everything. So I'm not knocking that at all.
Yeah, it was definitely unique. Yeah. Any other?
Well, even the fairground tents were, the festival tents.
Yeah.
Like that was just like something super simple, but it really fits in well with this forest theme, I thought.
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. One thing I'll say is that I think it's funny that this whole park has a weird like boutique tent theme.
Yeah.
We had this in Harbor Town. I don't think we had it in Adventure Atoll. Yeah, Adventure Atoll. But we have it here again.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I also read it wrong the first time, and I thought there were 3 food stands and then a random archery stand. So,
you get to eat Rapunzel's paint.
No.
So in the next project, if anybody wants to make something where you eat your art, that's right up Joker's alley. Apparently.
Yeah, I'm all for reading. I'm all for reading paint. So
you're getting the good stuff here, folks.
Yeah. See, this is why you got to tune in.
I want to run animatronic with swords.
You get all our
art.
You get all our preferences.
Probably.
I just want a Goofy e-ticket where he's the star and the only star.
Even if it doesn't fit, just add it. Just do it.
just throw him back there, winner. He can chill out back there.
Great. This whole podcast like fucking anarchy. It's fantastic.
Isn't it wonderful when Tiki and Dragon aren't here to be the sane men?
Yes, it is. It's great.
Wait, people.
It took us like
Oh.
20 minutes to talk Tiki into renaming this to more Pooh Talk yesterday.
So
If
good.
you wasn't here, it would have been more
my
Pooh Talk
gosh.
immediately. And here we stand. We are the three poopers. I think
Oh my
Nigel coined
gosh.
that term. But
Yes. Oh
we
my
are.
word.
we. Any other final thoughts on?
This is unrelated to the lamp, but I just saw that people are asking if I can post the full review. Yeah, I can into the hub thread, I guess. I just didn't want to make people have to read through that much to get the gist of the review.
It's the Google Doc.
Like the Google
Yeah, I will.
Release the goofy cut.
This is what everybody needs right now.
Roman animatronic that consumes paint.
Yeah, please. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for Paint Land. Like I can't wait for the first paint restaurant.
Artist palette got you super excited.
All our artist palette, all the food was like all the menu was food. I just left.
Call the waitress over. Oh, excuse me.
Excuse me. Where's the paint? What is this? Artists don't use this. This isn't a palette. Anyway, any final thoughts on Summer Festival?
Good job.
Yeah, great job, boys. Moving on, Fall Forest. I liked it. It's great. The only thing that I didn't really like was the Pocahontas ride. Granted, it was a paragraph.
It was for like a very simple boat ride. I'm not mad about it, and Pocahontas definitely fits in with the fall.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like I just thought
it's just the rest of it is Halloween Town.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was interested in the choice for Halloween Town because it was like it makes a lot of sense. So it's like it was almost like stuffing another IP in there for the sake of it. Like I like the concept of the river ride.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily fit as well, I guess.
Yeah. I was also curious because it strikes me like Aquatopia, but you're in a canoe, and I don't know how that would work logistically. Or if like trackless vehicles can even work like that. Because I've never seen a long trackless vehicle.
That would be interesting.
Sorry, yeah, I'd like to see it.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, no, I'd be very interested to see that. Also, Miko spits on you, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. And that was like one of the
come on, Joker.
I am an absolute
don't wanna be
foe
spit
for
on
small
by.
mammals spitting on me.
We found it. We're 3 for 3. Next land. What an animal that spit on Goofy.
I want animals spitting on Goofy the character.
Put in your Tomorrowland. Animal spit of the Northwest.
Oh man.
Yeah, the Nightmare Before Christmas ride is really great.
I liked the name.
Yeah, no, I really liked it as well. I wasn't sure how I felt about it being like a straight retelling of the movie, but I thought it was done very well. And again, it's a great Fantasyland dark ride. I love the ride vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember whenever I was reading it, I was a little bit like, well, this is a dark ride, right? I wasn't sure, but I thought it was probably a traditional fantasy dark ride, but I don't think that there was anything that actually said that. So I was like, this could be a roller coaster through Nightmare.
Yeah, no, I figured it was just like a normal dark ride.
Yeah.
One thing I mentioned in my review as well that I feel like is kind of a missed opportunity is that fall is right next to winter, and your Nightmare Before Christmas land mostly neglected Christmas, and I feel like that would have been a really great transition.
Yeah, it would have been a really cool transition. Yeah. And also, they neglected that in Chicken Little, the sky is falling.
Yeah, fall.
So you could have put Buck Cluck in there. And the baseball team is the Acorns, and Acorn is like fall. Right? Sort of. Yeah. See, it all fits.
Guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't want another Cats.
No, you don't.
Don't want another cat situation.
Goofy and I know that hell.
What hell? That was the best project of the season.
It's the best because we
Better
made it.
than Yogi Bear?
Yogi Bear is still the best project that has ever been made.
This is peak for him.
That's where I peaked. Everything else was downhill.
Sorry, we have comments. I was just looking through them quick.
We thought about how to include Chicken Little in every land.
We realized he's always there. In your hearts, in the whisper of the wind. Buck Cluck is crying. Eugene Levy alien, he's lurking in the shadows. We've resurrected Don Knotts. No, I thought the Harvest Day Cafe was really nice. I appreciate that it was kind of like a Thanksgiving restaurant. Again,
I was like, this is a place I would eat.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of Liberatory. Again, offhand,
Yeah.
like just looking at it before like reading it, I was worried that it'd be a little too close to Harbor Town. But you captured that Northeast aesthetic in a totally different way where it still felt distinct.
Yeah.
So, especially with stuff like apple cider donuts and things like that, which I very much
Sounds
appreciate.
so good.
Yeah, apple cider donuts are great. I miss them. Yeah, everything else was great. The shop was cool. Sally's Potions was fun. Yeah, I think this was a very, very solid land.
Yeah, I agree. There wasn't as much detail in this land. And I think that was something that was brought up in reviews or something, but it kind of felt like, well, I guess the thing that I wish had more details is like, if you were going to make this like a Nightmare Before Christmas land, like go all the way with it. Because Pocahontas, like I said, like I like the idea for the attraction for the most part, but it doesn't fit with Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I feel like, I mean, that's kind of like the flip side of the other lands, where most of the other lands kind of mishmash like-minded IPs together, where Nightmare is so distinct that you can't really do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like with some of the fantasy, like a lot of Fantasyland, part of it gets away with being such a mishmash because the movies look pretty aesthetically similar for the most part.
Yeah.
As well, and Nightmare Before Christmas is so distinct as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Any final thoughts before we move on?
The fact that we all pretty much agreed this was the worst land and it's still really good shows how much good this land is.
Yeah, and honestly, it's
So
only
true.
really the least good because of the lack of detail and some of the cohesion.
See, Jokers can't even say it's the worst. It's the least good. It's not the worst.
Well, I don't want to say worse because that's
no.
not...
I agree. No, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I just thought it was funny.
No, I know. It's the best bad. Anyway, moving on to Winter Mountain, and this is where things get off the fucking rails.
It was so crazy.
Here's where things start to feel like this could be its own theme park.
Yeah.
It is its own theme park.
It is. Yeah, does this require separate admission, like this whole fantasy?
bring back the ticket books.
Yeah. Like this is where I would have appreciated a map for the whole land.
Yes.
Because Holiday Village has a map somewhere.
It does.
There it is.
And it looks
cool. It looks great, but it's like a fucking square, and it's like the entire, like that should be the land on its own. Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is, like, I think with I guess they didn't get enough attractions in it, because if you look at it, so the ice rink thing, that's like, it's not real ice, right? It's just like, it's a little spinner thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like a dancing sleds kind of deal.
Which I thought was a really cool idea. I thought, that was a really cool idea to like make it feel even more wintry. But you have like, I think you have two attractions in here, and they're both really solid. So I understand maybe you want another one for your subland within your land, but it's like an actual attraction. But I was super confused by, well, it's Arendelle. It's literally like a kingdom. And you have this little holiday village kind of pushed in there. How does that work?
Yeah, I really think you guys should have picked one or the other. And honestly, I would have picked this over Arendelle because it's more unique.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like everything in Arendelle's great, but
Right. Yeah. I remember them talking about how I remember seeing in the brainstorming thread, 'cause I didn't read very much in the brainstorming thread, but what little I saw, I remember them talking about whether or not to include Frozen in the winter section. And it makes sense, right? From like a
Well, and like they were debating, like almost every season was debating on who would get Frozen.
oh yeah, because they were talking about Frozen 2 as well, weren't they?
just make it a Frozen land. Just make the whole thing Frozen.
4 seasons of Frozen. Seasons of Frozen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frozen seasons.
Yeah. But no, like, yeah, I just, you guys really should have picked one or the other.
I agree. But honestly, I mean, you can think about it. This Winter Village thing is like, it's so cool.
It is.
In my opinion. It is like you literally boil down Christmas to its essence and then put it in this land. And it's so cool. I really love it.
It's that very specific Christmas too.
Yeah, it's like it's like a Christmas Carol.
Yeah, it's Christmas. Specifically like Mickey's Christmas Carol, Muppet Christmas Carol, Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, to address the chat super duper quick, I have no issues with the map being a square. I was more talking about how large the land is, and I didn't convey that properly.
So I'm going to guess that Outbound's not a fan of globes.
No. Well, no, it's
circle. Oh wait, it is. Oh,
yeah.
I was reading something else. Pergron, why don't you like globes?
the winter DLC. Oh yeah, I mean, I like it. Everything's fantastic. Like all the rides are great. The sense of place is great. The shops and restaurants are really great. I just think that both of these lands together are too big because you're making 2 sublands for a subland. A subland.
Exactly. But yeah, I thought that it was cool because it kind of felt like it sort of felt like the shops were like an extension of the Ye Olde Christmas shop.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that was really cool. And Fezziwig's Tavern, that felt like it fit super well. And then the Scrooge's Christmas Adventure, that was something where it's like this would not fit anywhere else. Like there is no way that Mickey's Christmas Carol will get any representation in a theme park other than this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it was so cool that it was brought in. So I really appreciated that.
Yeah. No, this whole land really reminded me of a lot of stuff in the Northeast because for some reason there's like a weird reverence for Christmas up in the Northeast.
Honestly, you know what I could have used? You know what I could have used? I'm thinking right off the cuff right now.
If the toy soldiers were carrying swords.
Yes.
That too.
And if they were just eating and spitting on you.
But what I could have used was Muppets up in the windows.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
This is where Muppets could have fit. I still don't agree with Muppets Hamilton.
That's the wrong opinion.
No,
that is objectively the wrong opinion.
No, it's definitely the correct opinion. I've done the science. But Muppets Christmas Carol would have been like a very, very natural fit, and they would have made sense here.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that.
We'll never say no to Muppets here, honestly.
Right.
I will. I have.
And that's on you.
But I think it's interesting that I think that this maybe I liked all the lands. They were all great, but I think that this specific area, this and the e-ticket that we're going to get to at the end are probably my 2 favorite parts of this whole land. Because it's like, this is like, so like we've talked a little bit about how there's like issues with cohesion and stuff. This is the most cohesive thing that you could have made. And it's so cool because it's like, you can already feel the feeling that you would get being there. So it's like a perfect kind of land for me, I think.
No, absolutely. Also, Dash, Babes in Toyland would have been amazing, and I would have loved to
Yeah.
have seen that.
Oh, that would have been a really good idea.
That would
I
have
guess
been
they were
so
considering
cool.
that.
That
Yeah,
would have
that
been like if it were Christmas Carol and Babes in Toyland.
Yeah.
Oh
Because
my
that you could very
God.
feasibly do together. Because you don't necessarily have to do Toyland. You could very easily fit it in a dark ride. So have
Yeah.
like the Winter Village with the Scrooge dark ride and a Babes in Toyland dark ride, and maybe like a very tiny surrounding area of Toyland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be great, and that would be far more realistic.
Yes. And it would have been like, I know we're going to talk about Arendelle, but it's like the Arendelle thing. And I understand. And this is actually kind of funny because this is realistic to put Arendelle into this area, but it's sort of like, it's not as, I guess it's not as creative because it's something that's been seen before. And this is something that's never been put in a theme park, to my knowledge, like to this extent.
And at this point, what more can you do with Frozen?
Yeah, but we'll talk about it when we get to it. Is
Now,
there anything else to
Frozen
say about the
2,
winter?
that's a different story.
Yes.
Yeah, and that would have been cool, but I understand. Actually, that would have been so cool if they had left Frozen completely out of the winter section and put Frozen 2 into the summer or fall, or I think maybe, I don't know, maybe summer, I don't know. One of them. Just because this really works as a land in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And that would have
honestly,
been a cool
like,
flip.
I'm super into Nightmare, but if they did Frozen 2 instead of Nightmare, Pocahontas would have fit better.
It
And-
would have.
That would have
And
been an
Winter
excellent
Village could
way
have
to
been the
do it.
focus of the land. Yeah.
Miko spitting and all.
Yeah, finally. We could have Nico spitting and it would be cohesive.
Yes.
You would have a
It'd be-
reason to be spitting.
Perfect.
Yeah. Chef's kiss. We got any final thoughts on Holiday Village?
Needs more.
No, yeah, exactly.
Needs more work.
It needs more Muppets.
Yeah.
I love this area so much. It's just
No, I agree.
very, very thematically sound.
I really love the sense of place. Do you know what this reminds me of? And you guys probably won't know what I'm talking about, but it reminds me of the Yankee Candle Factory. And it's like a whole like huge store that's themed to Christmas.
That aesthetic.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's so true.
Yeah.
No, it makes me think. And the first thing I thought whenever I read it, my mom is like a Hallmark Christmas movie nut. Like December. Like actually, the day after Thanksgiving, Hallmark Christmas movies come on, and they're on past New Year's because she records a bunch that she doesn't watch at the time. So randomly throughout the year, she'll just watch them. And I was like, she's always talking about how, I would just love to live in this Christmassy town, And I'm like, this is literally that.
This is Christmas Town.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, enough gushing. Let's move on. I meant that less ominously. Like I have no issues with Arendelle. Arendelle, here it is.
Yeah. Got a nice little e-ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that it was like a kind of like a cooler version of Frozen Ever After.
Yeah.
Yes. No,
So
it's
it's like
good.
you can get that appeal with the audience because you have younger kids that I guess are going to be more drawn to Frozen Ever After, but you have a larger appeal whenever you make it an e-ticket like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's great to have a more unique attraction because is Tokyo getting a Frozen coaster? They're getting Frozen something.
They're getting a Frozen ride at Disney Sea. We don't know what it is.
Oh, I thought we did. Okay.
Don't you live in Japan?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, keep up on the news. It's all in Japanese.
Why don't they do everything in English here in Japan?
Damn right. I'm here. Why don't they cater to me, an American? Yeah, no, I wasn't sure if you guys knew because maybe it's Hong Kong. So I felt like I read that some park was getting a Frozen coaster.
Hong Kong is getting Frozen Ever After and an Open coaster.
Yes.
An Open coaster.
Just
Okay, that's what I was thinking of then. Yeah.
Oh, that looks so cool. I just googled it. That looks so cool. It's like
great.
This one site describes it as a modernized bobsled reminiscent of the Matterhorn.
Ooh, I'll have to
That's
make it.
cool.
That's really cool.
I'm honestly really excited to see Beauty and the Beast. I purposely haven't watched videos because I'm hoping to go in like January. Maybe. If things aren't awful. But anyway, point being, I'm glad that the Frozen attraction is unique and not like ground that's already been tread.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Personally, I don't have a ton to say about this. I don't know if you guys do.
I mean, it's kind of just your standard Frozen land.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. Nothing was bad.
Nope.
Yeah.
I
I mean,
appreciate the Kristoff and Sven walkarounds.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that it was executed very well, but it's just sort of the Christmas Village was so creative, and then Frozen's something that's already been done. So even though it's like updated and it's different, it's still it feels like something that we've experienced in a theme park already. To be honest.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I really appreciate it. So we're moving on to the last part. Once Upon a Dream.
But you would think it's a Sleeping Beauty ride, but it's so much more.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. It's I think it was mentioned in the actual write-up, but it reminds me a lot of the boat ride that's in Shanghai. So,
Yeah, the the one that goes under the castle.
Yeah. I forget the name of it offhand. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a good way of bringing all the princesses together. I still think it's weird that Snow White has a castle behind her castle.
The girl needs more than one castle.
I feel like this should have been someone else's castle.
We also don't know the size of this land. So this land could be like the size of Animal Kingdom, and the castle is like all the way in the back of it.
Yeah. I feel like. Sorry.
I was going to say this is probably this and like I said, the Christmas Village are my two favorite parts of the land. I love this attraction so much.
Yeah. This was I feel like if the whole land was as focused as this attraction, it would have been a bit more successful. Not to say that the land wasn't successful already.
Yeah.
It would have cinched it up nice. But yeah,
you need to read the comments.
Oh dear.
Okay.
The castle behind her castles where Thor
and
Thor had their fling. It's established in the lore. Where's the lore? Give me the lore.
What? Oh my gosh!
Can't get these little nuggets of lore in the comments.
Thor's thing. How did that happen?
They're royals. They're not faithful. What are you talking about?
I don't know how to feel about this. This is wrong.
This should have been Thor's.
You have this picture of all these perfect princesses, and then you grow up and find out that they all go for Thor.
Yeah, you find out that they're all adulterers.
Oh, like you wouldn't go for
They'll go for Thor. That's like the fucking red pill.
You wouldn't go for Thor.
You get red pilled by Thor.
Well, the question is Thor like a Prince Charming in a Disney movie somewhere?
Probably. Yeah, the Chad Thor.
Wait, the lore is an A4 page document.
You guys can post it. It's totally fine. I won't mind.
I posted my 4-page review of this project.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, you do you.
Please tell me.
I like the Adventure April backstory, goddammit. I didn't write my review, but I like the backstory. I just had issues at the end where we went from 1400s Ottoman Empire to submarines in the 1800s. That was the only issue that I had. Yeah. But I did really like that.
There was thematic consistency here. There was little thematic consistency in Adventure Atoll as much as I do like it.
Yeah, that was my biggest issue. You guys didn't really commit to the backstory. Aesthetically, rather.
Well, I think that it's kind of, and this is the thing that I really hit on in my review, is that I feel like whenever you go blue sky, you're naturally going to start moving away from realism, and that includes things like, well, how is this all cohesive and stuff? Because it's also, you think about it, how is this is something else, but how is the Adventureland going to connect to the Fantasyland in a way that makes any sense?
Is it supposed to?
I think so. Well, I don't know. There's not a map.
Well, no, I mean, like thematically, is it supposed to like connect to Fantasyland?
I don't know. I was just thinking from the standpoint of like, you think about Disneyland and Magic Kingdom and those lands, even though they're like so distinct, they flow together really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the bridge for Adventure Atoll would fix that, because there is a bridge in and out, I think, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, so that should fix that. Yeah, that should
be that's fair, yeah.
But yeah, this land was definitely far more successful than Adventure Atoll. I still think it was better than Harbor Town, other than the realism.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I agree.
Oh, there's Frontierland in between? How do you know? You haven't got a Frontierland prompt yet.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
There may not be a Frontierland.
Fair.
At the end of this, we get all of the lands, and then the judges make it into a map.
Well, this park is 1,000,000 acres.
Park is 1,000,000 acres. Anyway, do we have any final thoughts about this guy, the attraction Once Upon a Dream?
I don't know who made it, but thank you so much.
You'll find them.
It was who?
I think it was Nigel.
Oh,
was it?
Nigel?
Nigel. That's fantastic.
Man, this. How was he even up for elimination? My word. I mean, this is. I cannot get enough of this attraction. Like it has such a great flow to it, it's really central around, these three things: brave, kind, brave, kind, and willing to make their dreams come true. And it's like, it's so cool. And it was like, the more I read, the more I'm like, this is so awesome.
Who put Nigel up for elimination? Ace?
Yeah.
Ace. All right. Everybody knows who's. Everybody, you need to go after Ace.
That was fucking powerful.
This is a call to action.
I'm putting the target on his back.
Play.
I mean, come on. Like, I had no idea, because we talked about putting credits. Somebody said something about putting credits for like who makes the.
I think you guys should definitely start doing that, especially with how large the teams are. Yeah. It would just be not even necessarily from a judgment perspective, but it would be really nice to see who's doing what.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Making his way through the Disney princess.
No.
Through the Disney princesses. No. Thor comes from a different time. They don't have suffrage in Asgard.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so wrong.
Well, hold on. Back up. You'd really think that Odin was the one making all the decisions? You don't think it was Freya?
No, I don't. Odin was a mean man.
Odin
was a mean man. But Freya was smart.
Yeah, but I don't think Odin would. I think that Odin would be too misogynistic to give her any ounce of power.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about the politics. We have to wrap this up. Does anyone have any final thoughts?
Ooh, this podcast just got political.
3 tikis.
What? There's the one physical one and the 2 here in spirit.
That's literally the only thing I'm going to say for this entire podcast.
I'm seeing double 6 tikis. So let's wrap this up. Do you kids have any final thoughts about the land as a whole?
this was my
I think the
favorite
land is a very good Epcot pavilion. I think it could use maybe one or two other things, but
We gotta get food.
Continue.
No, I think that this was probably my favorite land that's been done so far, and even though it is blue sky, a little bit of realism. Well, I was gonna say never hurt anybody. I don't know if that's entirely true or not, but keeping things a little realistic isn't necessarily a bad thing. So with this small world prompt, please do not make a larger world showcase.
Yes.
But other than that, it was fantastic.
Yeah. Mickeyfan?
I want a roaming animatronic with swords.
Yes, it's coming.
If it could be a mammal that spits on you too. Oh.
I really enjoyed this project. You all know my stance on the realism, but that's neither here nor there. I think everything separately worked fantastically well. In terms of the current project, I don't want to push brainstorming, but please, for the love of God, consider the papercraft more, because that's a really unique idea, and there's too many World's Fair aesthetics going on in general, so I would love to see something different.
And make maps, please.
Yeah, please make a map. I love a map. Yeah. But yeah, I think this is it.
Paragon, this is the perfect way to end it. Make a roaming sword animatronic that spits paint.
Only if it eats the paint first. Like, it eats it, realizes it tastes bad, and then spits it out.
Versus you jokers, you just push through the taste.
I don't push through the taste. I actively enjoy the taste.
It's down the gullet.
Oh no.
And with that, have a good night, everyone.
Goodbye.